Hey there. If jaw-dropping stories are your thing, the kind that grip your chest and don't let go, then you're exactly where you need to be. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and become part of our storytelling family. Now, let's begin. I remember the precise moment I realized I was clinging to something that had already fallen apart. It was a quiet Sunday evening, the kind that used to mean a glass of red wine, soft music echoing through the kitchen, and slow dancing in the dim light, barefoot and wrapped in each other's arms. But this time, there was no music, no laughter, no dancing, just me, standing in front of a man I once believed I'd grow old with, staring into eyes that used to see me and now barely look through me. I kept telling myself that maybe, just maybe, there was still a flicker of hope left to hold on to, but deep down I knew. Ethan and I had been together for 7 years. We weren't flawless, no couple is, but we were steady. At least, that's what I believed. We'd survived things that shaked the strongest foundations. His job loss, the crushing pain of his father's death, my miscarriage. We leaned on each other when the world turned dark, and I thought that kind of bond was unbreakable. But even steel, the strongest alloy, can rot quietly from the inside without anyone noticing, until one day, it just gives out. The earliest signs that something was wrong were barely there. A small shift, barely detectable at first. He started working later than usual, coming home already fed. The little text messages that once brightened my day, the silly memes, the jokes, the random coffee photos, just stopped arriving. When I asked if something was wrong, he told me he was just stressed. And I believed him. I wanted to believe him. Then came the night I found the receipt. He had told me he was working late again, but while I was doing laundry, I reached into the pocket of his jeans and pulled out a crumpled slip of paper, a receipt from an upscale restaurant, 2 entrees, wine, dessert. Definitely not a solo dinner. I didn't say anything right away. I told myself maybe it was a client meeting. Maybe it was harmless. I didn't want to overreact. But that gnawing feeling in my gut, the one that feels like a quiet scream in the dark, kept twisting tighter. So I did something I never thought I would. I checked his phone while he was in the shower. I hated myself for it. But I hated what I found even more. Her name was Tessa. Their messages weren't casual. They were intimate, personal, detailed. This wasn't a fling. This was something with weight, depth. They had inside jokes, shared nicknames, a countdown to when they'd see each other again. And the worst part? He told her things he had never told me. His fears, his dreams, how she made him feel alive. It was like being punched in the chest by a ghost I didn't know existed. I stood there, holding his phone in trembling hands, the truth unraveling in front of me like a film I didn't want to watch. When he came out of the shower, I confronted him. He froze. He didn't argue, didn't lie, just sat on the edge of the bed, still dripping water, wrapped in a towel, and whispered, I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, numb, hollow. Then I left. I grabbed a bag and drove to my sister's house, the silence in the car so loud it rattled my bones. I stayed the night trying to make sense of a reality I never imagined I'd be living in. The days that followed were a blur. He called. He texted. He begged me to talk. Said he'd end it. Said he still loved me. That he wanted to fix what we had. And God, help me. Some part of me wanted to believe him. We started therapy. We had long, brutal conversations. He handed over his phone without me asking. He deleted every message. Blocked her. He wrote me letters, asterisk real asterisk, ink on paper letters, pouring out guilt, remorse, promises. He told me he wanted to rebuild us, that he'd do anything to make things right. And for a while, it almost felt like we were finding our way back. I won't lie, there were moments where it felt like healing. He was attentive again, patient, raw. We talked openly about everything, about the affair, about how it happened, about what we both felt. We created rules, daily check-ins, full transparency. It was like learning to walk again blindfolded. But rebuilding is not the same as healing. And some wounds seal at the surface but remain festering underneath. 3 months into our recovery, the cracks started forming again. Subtle, He wasn't as excited about our date nights. He lingered longer in the bathroom with his phone. He laughed less, smiled less, and I could feel it, that distance creeping in again like a slow leak from a pipe no one fixed. I asked him point blank, "Do you miss her?" He didn't answer immediately. He paused. Too long. And then said, "Sometimes. But I chose you." That pause. God, it was enough. A pause like that doesn't whisper. It screams. And in that second, something inside me collapsed. I became paranoid. I watched his location. I asked too many questions. I analyzed every word, every smile, every change in his tone. I hated who I was becoming. Suspicious, cold, distant. But I hated more that I didn't trust him, no matter how hard I tried. Then one evening, my phone buzzed with a message on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. No name, just a single photo. Ethan and Tessa on her couch in her apartment. It wasn't even sexual. That made it worse. He was looking at her with a tenderness I hadn't seen in months. She was wearing his hoodie. The caption read, "He still comes over when he needs comfort. Thought you should know." My hands were shaking. I couldn't cry, couldn't breathe. I stared at that image like it was a window into a world I never belonged to. And after a long, cold silence in my own head, something broke. I didn't scream. I didn't call him. I didn't even tell him what I saw. I just started packing. Quiet, calm, no fireworks, no vengeance. I boxed up my things while he was at work, left the keys on the table, and scribbled one sentence on a sticky note. Some damage can't be undone. That night, he called me 42 times. Texted me even more. He said it wasn't what it looked like, that she had called him after her dog died, that he didn't kiss her, that nothing happened, that he just needed a friend. But I had been that, his friend, his partner, his comfort, and he handed all of that to someone else. Again, you don't come back from that. Not really. Love can survive a lot, but not repetition. Not when a wound keeps reopening deeper and deeper. Trust doesn't regenerate. It erodes. And once it's gone, what's left? It's been a year now. I moved to a new city. I picked up painting again, something I hadn't done since college. I even met someone. It's not serious, but it's soft, safe, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can trust my own instinct again. Last month, Ethan emailed me. A long, aching letter. Said he ruined the best thing that ever happened to him. Said he finally cut off all contact with Tessa. That he's in therapy. That he dreams about the life we could have had. I didn't respond. Because now, I understand something I didn't before. You can love someone with your whole heart. You can forgive. You can rebuild. You can even start over. But when the foundation has been cracked enough times, no matter how beautifully you decorate the outside, the structure will never be sound. It's only a matter of time before it collapses again. I thought I could fix us. I truly did. But some damage can't be undone.